Hey everyone, and welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. Today's video, I want to jump into the side business equation. And this is a unique equation and methodology that I personally developed to help people just like you who are looking to start a side business and actually think of an idea they can actually launch and move forward with. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the three parts of the side business equation, why this equation is important, how it's gotten others results, and how you can potentially implement it or move forward with it going forward. So why did I develop this equation and why is it important for you to know? Well, first, it ultimately helps you group all the different pieces of a side business idea together into one simple equation that you can just follow and execute on to actually think of ideas you can use. When I was helping people develop their business ideas, a huge problem people would run into is they actually can't launch the ideas that they're developing. And so with this equation, you can help avoid that. Secondly, it helps you have a roadmap. When looking to start a side business, many people actually need a viable business idea, but many people choose to just move forward with any idea they think of, which is a massive problem and which is a massive reason why new entrepreneurs starting a side business fail. If you understand the exact problem you're solving and how you're doing that with your passions and strengths, and ultimately how you're having that exchange in value with your business model, you can see your business idea and your side business idea ultimately much more clear. This will help you when you go to execute and you need to fine-tune pieces of your concept, change aspects of your business model, or choose the industry you ultimately want to enter. Lastly, the side business equation I developed is built off business fundamentals. Over the years of attending Washington Business Weeks, other entrepreneurial training camps, receiving my degree in business and specialization in entrepreneurship, I learned all these business fundamentals, and while I was working with people developing their ideas, I learned they weren't incorporating it into their actual idea so they could have long-term success. So this equation will help you develop the fundamentals, such as actually solving a real problem out there instead of just thinking there's a solution for something, even though there may not be an actual solution. The equation has ultimately helped me develop a side business that is successful for myself and lifestyle I want to live. You see, over the past years, I developed many side businesses that ultimately went on to fail. And it was through these failures and hardships that I learned that you need to have certain aspects and certain areas covered in your side business idea, and that's really important for your continued success. So I've made sure that you won't have a side business failure like I did if you use the side business equation and model and method. For instance, back when I started my first landscaping company, I wasn't really passionate about this. But you see, if you actually went into the value you can bring within this method and equation, we actually cover passion under the value you can bring quite extensively. So I would have probably ultimately never even started this landscaping business and went on to do something that I would have enjoyed and would have actually wanted to stay on with once I got my clients. You see, I'll tell you a quick bit about this landscaping company. Ultimately, I grew it up to where I was generating a little bit of revenue for myself each month, but it got to the point where I had clients that I didn't want to work with, and I actually didn't like the work I was doing. I wasn't at the point to hire someone and outsource it all, so I really just shut down the business and decided to move on to something else, which could have been totally avoided if I had this equation in the first place and would have followed it. So if you're ready, let's jump into actually the three pieces of this business idea equation and methodology, starting with the problem. So the first piece of the business idea equation is the problem. Now, problems are fundamental to running a business or side business in general. If you're not solving a problem or filling a need, your business or side business is generally going to fail, as no one's just going to hand you money. So when you're going through this problem piece of the equation, there are a few things you're going to want to think about. The first is the size of the problem. The size of the problem needs to be big enough where you can actually make money based on the product or service you're providing. There's also different types of problems, and you can refer to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs for that if you're curious. Lastly, you want to be able to find unique problems, and there's multiple ways to do this. You can find problems from the news, use consulting firm research, ask friends and family, even look at your local city council meeting minutes to see what are the problems they're discussing at city council. So as you can see, the problem forms the base and the fundamental foundation of your side business idea. And without this, you'll be lost and you won't know where to start, as you can't think of a solution to a problem you haven't found yet. So I highly recommend you go find a problem in your local area and see where that can take you for the next step in the business idea equation and methodology. Now, the second piece of the equation is the value you can bring. And also, I just want to touch on here, guys, if you're wondering how you can implement this, or you actually need one-on-one help to implement this whole equation and think of an idea you can actually launch, I do a lot of one-on-one work with people using this side business equation and methodology, and I've seen a lot of great results for them. But without further ado, let's move on to the value you can bring. So this piece of the equation basically outlines all the value you can bring to the marketplace. So this is your passions, your strengths and skills, and your available resources. It allows you to develop a business idea or a side business that is right for you and one you can actually launch, that you have the resources for. I've seen countless number of times entrepreneurs and people working the 9-to-5, they get stuck in moving forward as they think of all these great ideas, but they don't have the skills, the passions, the strengths, or the resources such as the funding and money to get this idea off the ground. And they waste years just trying to think of ways where they can raise money or develop those skills, when in reality, they could have actually just gone back to the drawing board, developed a business idea they could launch and move forward with. So passion is very important for your side business and in the value you can bring. In the beginning, you may not be making any money, and you may actually be pulling money from your day job to fund your side business. In instances like this, if you're not passionate, you're going to shut down the business pretty quick because you'll not see any revenue coming in, and it can be very discouraging in times when you're just spending money and not seeing any money come in. Secondly, like I touched on before, you need to know your resources and you need to account for them. If you only have $500 in the bank account and you're looking at business ideas that require $5,000 just to create the prototype, well, you should really reconsider and head back to the drawing board. We want to think of ideas here that you can actually launch and move forward with. If you can't launch the idea, you can always save that for down the road when you've built up that resource fund from the other entrepreneurial ventures that you've started and ran. And again, there's many other areas of the value you can bring, and there's also custom assessments I usually go through with my one-on-one clients here if you're interested. Now, the third and final piece of the equation that really wraps it all together and ties it into a business is the business model. And now, since I teach people who work 9-to-5 to do a service-based business model, we can narrow that down by making sure it's only service-based. There are many different variations to a service-based business, such as you can have a one-off fee, you can have subscription-based service. So there are many different variations I'll cover in another video, or if we work one-on-one. But basically, this helps you narrow down how you're going to add value to your customer and in what way. And how is that customer going to give value to you in return? So the business model will help you answer who your customer is, how that value exchange will work, and how the underlying economics of your business will work. You see, without including a business model, how are you going to know how customers are going to actually pay for that service? How are you going to deliver it in a way they're going to actually want to pay for it and continue to pay for it down the road? The business model will also determine, your marketing channels, your sales channels, your operations, etc. So it's really important to choose a business model, even though we're already choosing service-based, but to choose a more specific model so we can move forward and know how to operate that business. We can also take other successful businesses that are using similar models that we're using and see how we can implement that in our business idea and side business. Ultimately, so we can have a reference for how to move forward. So as you can see, the side business equation is a really fundamental equation that will really help you develop that right side business for you. I know it can be so frustrating scouring through lists online, wondering what is that idea I should start? What should it really be? And to be honest, you're not going to find it online. You really need to just spend some time and work through this equation and see what ideas you can develop. Go find some problems in your local area, see what the value you can bring is, and choose a service-based type business model and see how that packages it all together to create your side business idea. So if you have any questions about this equation, you can always leave a comment below. And if you want to work together, there are multiple ways you can contact me in the link in the description. And I'd be happy to help you walk through this process to find an idea you can actually launch. Otherwise, thanks for watching another video, and I'll see you next time.